Good evening, leaders. It's a pleasure to extend a warm welcome to you all at Rise with SAP CXO Forum, powered by Eviden and SAP in association with Alden Global. Apologies for the delay. God has been kind that the rain has stopped now. I am Shivani Chauhan from Alden Global, and it's my privilege to be your host for the event. The theme for our event is Next Level Move with Intelligent Cloud. Given the ever evolving business landscape, it is crucial for enterprises to constantly adapt and innovate. To further prove their businesses, organizations must embrace digital transformation and leverage cutting edge technologies. Intelligent and integrated solutions are instrumental in streamlining operations, fostering seamless collaboration, improving customer experience, and achieving sustainable growth. By making a move to cutting edge technology systems, businesses can unlock enhanced agility, flexibility, and scalability, as well as gain real time insights to quickly respond to market dynamics and boost bottom line growth. In this context, we are privileged to have eminent CXOs, tech experts, and leaders among us to share their roadmap and strategies for building an intelligent enterprise leveraging cloud. Now I request Mr. Smruti to please come and introduce Eviden.
Thank you, Shivani, and warm welcome to everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you, everyone, and just wanted to give you, and everyone will talk about what is Eviden. We'll share more about Eviden and just a one short video which will give us a glimpse. And I'm sure we'll talk about more about the Eviden and the solutions and the offerings in the later point of our session. So I'm sure this will help you. So I would request, please just start a short video which will gives you about Eviden as an organization perspective. Thank you.
At Atos, we continue to adapt, to thrive in the new digital era. We are two brands, two experts, with our own dynamic markets. One is Atos, same name, yet different. Rebuilt to be the best version of Atos. Market leader in reliable and responsive digital foundations, with passionate experts in hybrid cloud, employee experience, artificial intelligence, and decarbonization, applying digital technology to make a meaningful impact for our customers and society at large. Atos, creating the foundations for a thriving tomorrow. The other is Eviden, the new leader in digital transformation, big data, cloud, and cybersecurity. We see differently. We see possibility. With world-class talent, we transform the challenges of security, sovereignty, and decarbonization into opportunities. Eviden, expanding the possibilities of data and technology now and for generations to come. Welcome to a new era for the group. Welcome to our next phase of digital expansion.
Thank you, and stay tuned for more information on later point. I think I would request Shivani to come and introduce our leaders to start with more about the digital transformation and share the industry thought leaders. I would request Shivani, please come. Thank you.
Thank you, Smruti. Let's start this event with Eviden and SAP leaders have a keynote session. The first session is by Prasad Bhatt, SAP Business Head Eviden. A visionary leader with 28 years of experience in the IT industry, Prasad is a SAP business head at Eviden. He has been instrumental in driving large SAP businesses transformation implementations, global rollout, and upgrade programs. He has successfully set up and led the SAP pre-sales and solutioning center as a part of the transformation initiative. Prior to this, he led the digital manufacturing team at Capgemini. I kindly request Prasad to come ahead for the keynote session.
Thank you. Thanks, Shivani. Can we get this? Can you guys hear me? All right, great. Okay, thank you. Thanks everyone, and apologies for delayed start. I was just telling someone that we had sent boats for all of you. I don't know how many of you could get it, but hopefully this should come in handy while we go home. Okay. Thanks to all of you to come here on such a not a great weather day, and thanks for taking time out and being with us. Really welcome you all. Again, apologies for delayed start. We'll make it up. Hopefully, it's worth the effort for all of you. Okay. So quickly, what I'm going to talk about is not so much about SAP. I'm not going to talk so much about Eviden. Okay. I think all of you are CXOs or somewhere around that positions. So I think what I'm going to talk about is why. What are we doing here? Is this a right time? Is the digital transformation really needed? And then if it is needed, what is it that you're going to do? How SAP will help you, how Eviden will help you is something that will follow. But I think if you go to the first slide, again, just to come from a top level, I think if you look at it, if you look at the economic forecast, overall, I think what everybody is saying is world economy is improving. It's not out of the woods yet, but it is improving. But in that, if you look at the top line is India. So India is a place where I think the most growth is going to happen. Okay, inflation is peaking, the fiscal is getting tightening, but all of that is really not impacting so much in India. If you look at in India, it remains an investment destination. Our economy is well managed. I don't want to get into politics or anything else, but definitely, I think what we have seen is we have a stable policy regime over the last few years, and that is really something that is boosting the business sentiment in our country. So from all of that point of view, I think what the message that we are trying to say is this a right time for us? I mean, this is a time from an economic standpoint, where companies want to consolidate. There will be M&As, there will be divestitures, there will be expansions that people with deep pockets will want to do. And all of that, I think, where it's going to happen is probably going to be India. That's what I think the whole message on the slide is. And if you go to the next slide, how does it impact different industries? And what is the imperatives, what are the trends, what are the challenges each industry is actually happening? I've just taken a couple of industries as an example. If you look at manufacturing, I mean, everything in manufacturing is now revolving around Industry 4.2. At one point in time, we thought manufacturing is all labor-intensive industry, at least in India, but Industry 4.2, smart plants, that is something that is really taking over. IoT, IIoT, and now how that's going to compare with your old ERPs or the way of doing things, how will you enable all of that? That's something that is really taking importance. If you look at manufacturing, I think the people are saying, are we a manufacturing industry or are we a service industry? I think a lot of the manufacturing industry people are saying, our business model is changing, that we are actually getting close to a service industry. If you look at life sciences, for example, life sciences or healthcare is heavily dependent on AI, is heavily dependent on data mining. I think the supply chains are getting disrupted, and how do we get that intelligent supply chain ready? How do we get that global supply? I think that's something that is really kind of impacting that industry. If you look at India point of view, contract research organizations is something coming up very heavily. That's an opportunity for us, in India to get into that industry. BFSI, obviously some of you are from BFSI as well. I mean, the competition from fintech industry actually is making almost all the finance industry turn into a software company. Okay, I think a lot of financial companies are probably more technologically advanced than a technical company like us, right? I think that's the challenge that every finance company is facing. Okay, what is really making a difference for them is how do you make that experience to the customer count? I think those are the challenges that all of these industries are facing. Those are the trends that you're seeing in the industry. And I think what we are trying to see here is now we are at a position where we are saying India is a growth story. This is the right time to do something. This is the right time to invest, look for a long-term future. And this is the challenges that we are seeing, right? And now if you go to the next slide, what do we do as CXOs? What do we do? I think, so what we talked about was this business needs. Just to get this is all we talked about from a different industry standpoint. What we have in IT challenges, I mean, some of you might relate to it. I hope some of you may not, but I mean, to a lot of CXOs that we have spoken, a lot of them actually relate to these points. What I have as a CXO, I mean, I need to take this opportunity, and what I have is a system that is age-old, that is like, we have business processes across different systems, they're like broken business processes. If my, chief revenue officer or a sales officer comes and says that I want to create a new digital marketing initiative, I can't do it because my system can't handle it, right? That's the challenge that we have. I can't scale. If my time to market, I can't help my business to do that, right? I think that's the kind of issues that we are facing from an IT perspective. And then my CEO and my businesses can come and tell me, Boss, there's so many things happening in IT. There is this big data, there is AI, there is ML, and there is this SaaS products, and there's a PaaS solutions that we have. What are you doing? Why are you not taking advantage of that? And get me to an IT system which is future ready. Get me, increase my time to market and lower my total cost of ownership. All of this can happen only if you do a transformation. Okay, I think that's the message that I wanted to give you. So this is a point in time where we want to take this opportunity to change our systems. It could be upgrade your systems if that works for you, or it could be a greenfield approach. I think that depends on, probably varies from organization to organization. But I think that's what we are looking for. And how do we do that is what we'll follow now in this session. So that's really what I wanted to cover. I don't know if that makes sense to all of you, does it resonate to all of you, but I'll pause here for a second. If there are any points, questions, let's keep it interactive. So any thoughts you can express now, or we can talk later in the Q&A or discussion. Okay. So with that, Gopal, I think you can talk about how SAP can help in this journey. Gopal, yeah. You want to introduce yourself? Yeah.
Can I have the clicker? So good evening, everyone. I'm Gopal. I represent SAP and welcoming you all once again, making it in this weather. So we really thank you for your support. Prasad talked about a lot of changes that we are seeing and how India is in a better position to leverage all the things that are happening. What I want to do is share my perspective with respect to the digital transformation as to what different companies and what they are doing, right? So I have been with SAP for almost 8 years and get an opportunity to work with different kind of customers, large, medium, small. I just wanted to share the perspective as to what the customers are thinking and what is it that we hear from them are their challenges and how SAP is in a position to help these customers. So with that, I will get into the presentation. So these are some of the statistics, right? But you might have heard about this statistic, which says 52% of Fortune 500 companies have gone out of business in the last couple of years. And today, the other statistic is the new age companies are hitting $1 billion valuation in less than 4 years, around 4 years, that is the time. What does that mean for us is, these new companies are taking digital as a base and building their business on top of it. It is disrupting the marketplace, and we as traditional organizations also need to do something in order to survive in that market. Otherwise, we'll be thrown out of business. So we need to transform ourselves, or we just go out of the business, right? So that is some of the. That is a business imperative today, right? Transformation is a business imperative, and a lot of companies are already doing a lot of things in different, disparate areas. So that is one of the thing that I wanted to highlight. Having said that, now how SAP can help you in this particular transformation journey, right? So SAP has been a key system in your landscape for last 20, 30 years. We have been that we have been operating in India. We have more than 4,000 odd customers, where SAP plays a key role in managing their back-end operations. Correct. So today, what we want to do is we want to bring to our customers not only a back-end ERP system which helps you just manage your financials, trial balance, P&Ls, statement and things like that. But we want to bring a more holistic landscape, right? And that's what I wanted to talk in this particular slide. So what we are bringing here with the intelligent suite is nothing but our latest and greatest ERP software that we have rewritten, taking into consideration our experience of running an ERP system for last 50 years, right? So SAP completed 50 years last year. What we have done is we have taken this opportunity to rewrite the application, taking into consideration the latest technologies, be it artificial intelligence, be it machine learning, RPA, in columnar database, in-memory computing and whatnot. And we have rewritten this application. What it means for you as a business is now you don't need a very large or a monolithic architecture to run your systems. It can be run on a very small or a nimble architecture, right? Apart from that, a lot of other things are changing within the intelligent suite is obviously the user interface, right? We have made it more modern user interface so that people today can go ahead and use the systems without more training, right? So nobody taught us to use an Amazon or an Uber. There was no training which was conducted for us. We want similar experience to be given in SAP, where we can give you those small, nimble applications or Fiori apps, as we call it, on your mobile phones, on your desktops, laptops, where user can go ahead and do that task in a simple manner without a larger change management effort. A third, what we are bringing is obviously, as I said, the new technologies, so embedded analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning. So all those technologies are built within this intelligent suite, as we call it, right? What it means for you is now you don't have to go to multiple vendors, right? So today, if you are if you're running an ERP system, ECC, and an on-premise version, and if you have to do some, say, a management dashboarding, right? Probably what companies will do is they will go and look at some dashboarding tools like Power BI or Tableau or ClickView or what have you, and then dump the data and then just create the dashboards. Today we have changed that. You don't need to have multiple systems. The dashboards are available within the systems, and not only limited for the top management, but also for the people on the ground, right? So if I am say a store in charge, there is a dashboard which tells me, okay, what are all the activities that I need to complete, what is my space utilization, how many tasks are pending, so on and so forth, right? So basically we are moving away from the concept of data entry to a concept where we give insight to the user so that they are motivated to take certain actions, right? So insight to action, as we call it. And then obviously robotic process automation, artificial intelligence, some of those technologies are already bundled into this so that you can leverage it. You don't have to go to a third party vendor and use or take an integration project to make these two systems work together. It's already built into this particular platform. That's where the intelligent suite comes into the picture. And I'll say, you don't look at your current ERPs and say, let's just do an upgrade and move it to an S/4HANA system. I'll say it is more of a digital opportunity for you to transform your business, leveraging all these new technologies that are available from the intelligent suite. But that is not all that we offer. What we also offer is something known as the industry cloud. What it means is, we as SAP understand that, we can't give each and everything to our customer, in their business landscape. And that is the reason we are going ahead and tying up with lot of industry niche solutions, right? For example, if I take a pharmaceutical, right? So track and trace is a very industry specific requirement. Or if I take, say, a mall operator, then they need a solution for their lease management and things like that. Plus you want to do your sustainability reporting and cost allocations and things like that. If you are a engineering services company, then you need project management capabilities. You want to track what your suppliers and suppliers are doing. You want to get a visibility into the entire supply chain. That is where our industry cloud solution comes into the picture, over and above what my ERP is doing, right? So my ERP will obviously help me automate my procure to pay, record to report, order to cash processes, but this is basically extending the capabilities beyond what ERP is doing. Moving ahead, what we also bring is now the business process intelligence layer, right? So this, according to me, is a game changer for us. What what we are bringing with this particular technology is an ability for customers like you to benchmark your processes, see where the processes are running better, where the processes need some certain improvement. Right, so what we do here is we take your data, compare your performance with your industry peers, and tell you, Mr. Customer, okay, on a particular KPI, let's take an example, say days to close your books. So as a CFO, I'm interested in knowing how much time I'm taking to close my books, right? It will benchmark your process and tell you, okay, I am able to close my books in 5 days, but there are industry leaders who are able to do it in 2 days. Okay, what is it that I can do to improve my situation from 5 to 2? Right? Like that, there are multiple such KPIs, 85 odd KPIs, on which you can benchmark your performance vis-a-vis your industry peers and then take certain corrective actions. Right? So that is something not possible today. Probably you'll have to go to a big four consulting company, and then they will do an assessment, and then they will tell you, okay, these are the scope of improvement. Here you can do it on a periodic basis. You can do it on a quarterly basis, half yearly, yearly basis, or whenever you feel you want to do that. So that is something which we have introduced in the latest offering. Then comes the business network. Again, this for us is a very important area. What we are bringing with the business network is the ability to extend your business processes beyond the four walls of your company. So today ERP is basically everything within the four walls: requisition, payment, approval, XYZ. But how do I get visibility into what is the status of manufacturing at my subcontractor? How do I know where my shipment has reached? Just like on Amazon, we see, once we place an order, we see the entire history, whether when it has left, say, Gurgaon, where it has reached, and when it is reaching my destination. Customers are expecting similar, information when it comes to doing supply chain collaboration, right? So this is where the business network comes into the picture and helps you extend your processes beyond the four walls of your company. And then lastly, at the bottom, we have the business technology platform. So this is the platform on which all the solutions that SAP is developing is built on this platform. So you can also use this platform to go ahead and build your own custom requirements, right? So typically we, in spite of having all these solutions, there will be some or the other requirement which a customer will have, and they will expect that it should be built on the same integrated platform, right? Which is where the business technology platform comes into the picture, and you can use this to build any gap that you see in the above offerings that we have, right? So this is what we want to offer to our customers. Right? So basically to help you get started on that digital transformation journey. When we say Rise with SAP, my message to my customers is don't just look at it as an upgrade project, right? You're not just doing an ERP upgrade and making it a technology, upgrade project, then you'll not get any benefit out of it. There are a lot of things that SAP has brought to the table. You need to go ahead and see where you want to get started. And it's not that you have to do everything in one shot. It's a pick and choose approach. Whatever is more relevant for you, you can start with that and then keep on adding on top of it. Right, so this is what SAP brings to the table. Now just building on what Prasad said, right, what we see from our interactions with the customers is typically a situation where where we have a CFO who is basically looking at how do I improve my reporting compliance. How do I get everything digital, right? Some of the things are digital, some things are paper, and then I need to have a lot of Excels to manage all these things. How do I make the process more digital, close the books, make my reporting more accurate? CEO is interested in basically making the whole ecosystem work in a collaborative manner. My CDO wants to try out new technologies and things like that, right? So they are always in a POC, endless POC mode. And then obviously as a CIO, I am looking at how do I move to the cloud, how do I get benefit of the the cloud computing to my organization. And in doing so, what is happening is, as a CEO, I am interested in capturing that pie of that 5 trillion economy that India is poised to be taking up. So what happens essentially is, in such a situation, what we see is there's a lot of from a CFO perspective, there's a lot of standalone reporting. There's more and more Excel sheets and spreadsheets that come into the picture. As a CEO, basically, I get less budgets or very minuscule budgets, so we end up doing some point solutions which are disconnected, and managing my supply chain becomes a challenge. As an CDO, I am trying out new things, AI, ML, IoT, POC, and more POCs, but not able to actually deliver a value to the business. And as a CIO, maybe I just think at looking at a piecemeal. Okay, how can I move away from my servers are coming to an end of life? I just want to do away with the servers and go to an hyperscaler. There is a one small requirement. Okay, let's do a custom development and so on and so forth. What it means is there's a lot of added complexity into your landscape. There's a lot of lack of collaboration. There's a siloed approach. It's all technology centric rather than business centric. Business should be at the center and technology should be an enabler, rather than technology comes into the center and then we devise our processes around that. And from a CEO perspective, it's more complexity and more complexity. Right. So this is what we see happening in the Indian market space. And in order to that, Rise with SAP, as I said, looking at what we are offering as part of Rise with SAP, it can help you get started on your digital transformation journey, right? So what we are saying is, with Rise with SAP, you start anywhere, right? You can be an ECC customer, you can be an S4HANA customer, be on any version that you are, you can get started anywhere. There's no fixed starting point that you have to reach a certain stage. Second, it is a framework-based approach, right? So we are giving you a lot of tools and technologies, right? So we are giving you, say, the business process intelligence layer that we talked about to get started, identify the areas of improvement, right? And then we give you things like a readiness check to see where your system is, what are all the fine-tuning that needs to be done to move to the next level. Custom code analyzer and so on and so forth. There's a whole plethora of technology available in a framework-based manager approach to decide what path you need to take. Then the focus is more on process and systems. As I said, you use this technology, identify what processes you want to improve, and start your journey with that on your terms and at your pace, right? There's no fixed saying that you have to move everything onto the cloud. No, that's totally depending on the customer situation, where you are standing and where you want to reach. We will help you plan your journey, right? So this is all about Rise with SAP. I think that was it that I wanted to cover as an offering to help you get started on your transformation journey. I think the whole outcome of this is to give you a roadmap which will lead you to the outcome that you are desiring to achieve with Rise with SAP. Right, so more than happy to take any questions now or maybe later on. We'll be here. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gopal, for such an impactful keynote session. Now I kindly request Surendra Prabhu to come forward for the next session. Surendra Prabhu is a SAP Solution Head at Eviden, heading the SAP S4HANA solutions for Eviden global customers. He has 25 plus years of experience in SAP consulting and business transformation, working in 40 plus countries across the globe. He has worked with many of the Fortune 100 companies in their business transformation projects using SAP solutions.
Thank you. Thanks, Gopal. Thanks, Prasad. Prasad and Gopal gave the business perspective, and Gopal gave from the SAP product perspective how this digital transformation can happen. I'm here in between to make sure that both the ends are met and how this can be done. And also I'll give some of the success stories of some of the customers that we talked about. How did they plan it and how did they went about it, taking the benefit out of that. What Gopal said, that looking at a 360-degree view rather than just like an upgrade or a migration from ECC to S4HANA or something like that. Look at from a business perspective, and I'll give some of the examples of some of our existing customers. Only thing is that I picked up most of these examples are global. I couldn't take anything from India, so that's the only thing that I wanted to say. Maybe I should have done with some India customer stories also. This is pretty much what Prasad mentioned about, as well as Gopal said about. The things have changed in the last 10 years or so, how the business being done. We had our own, the new models coming in from a business perspective. The competition is being heavily coming with, especially if you look at from a startups, they come with some of the different models which a lot of well-established companies had their own rigid processes and things like that. That's been changed. The world is moving toward the digital ways, digital twins and everything that we are talking about here. The shift is happening to how to make the more profits out of the lesser human resources as well as the other capital that is there. The global companies are going from capex to opex model so that they can take these resources and use it best. And the last one, just wanted to say from a sustainability perspective, the whole world is looking at from spending trillions of dollars to make it carbon neutral and a lot of other things that we are talking about. How does that impact our businesses is, these are some of the things that you look at it from. Enough examples that has been given by Prasad and Gopal. The business models are changing, like what Prasad said. Today, banking banks have become more like the IT companies. The manufacturings, the great examples are something like Ashok Leyland, which went through some few years back. I could recollect the service mandi that they're talking about. The whole entire network of servicing that they are doing has been transformed with one initiatives that we are talking about. There are a lot of transformation is happening. Cloudification, that's one of the things that is happening heavily. If you look at the organizations when they grow, sometimes it's changing, even expanding our the hardware or networking that is needed becomes really difficult when we are in on-prem kind of solutions. So the best way is for cloudification. I think we ourselves, of course, the parent company Ethos was one of the main IT partner from a Olympics perspective. I think for the last 10 years or 12 years, we have been the IT partners for Olympics. And when so many track and field and other events are happening, you need that computing power so much that every minute you may have to add so many new servers and things like that. So that's what the kind of a challenge that you have it. And best way to manage is going into the cloud, which earlier days maybe it was difficult because there were a lot of security issues and things like that. But in today's world, a lot of things have been taken care from that perspective. So looking at that, what is that from an IT perspective is changing it. So we need to have some of the new business models that is coming in. Thanks to SAP, they are coming with some intelligent ERP, what we call it as an SAP S4 HANA and some of the other business networks. Today, SAP has got almost like, if not maybe thousands, is close to 1,000 different new applications have come in. Every year they come with some hundreds of new applications which are directly linked to artificial intelligence, which becomes imperative for us to make use of it to the best whatever we could able to do it. So that's where the new things are happening. The business network that Gopal talked about, that is one thing that you need to look at from expanding your businesses beyond these four walls, like what Gopal said about the software upgrades, because a lot of customers, almost like 50,000 plus customers today are using ECC. They all need to move to S4 HANA. How can we manage those things? Should I go for which of the versions should I go for? So that's what we'll talk in the next slide. The cloud I talked about, which becomes agile, flexible, and things like that. Technological changes that is happening. So we all know it's not something which is what SAP S4 HANA or any of the products gives it, is something which can be directly used 100%. we have our own customization, which we know everybody. I don't call them customization, I call them custom innovation. For my company, for my industry, or maybe specific to my business, these are my next practices. They're not even best practices, because that is how I differentiate myself from rest of the world, rest of the companies. That's the only way I can differentiate compared to my competitors. How that is supposed to be done? Even then keeping the core clean, because keeping the core clean of standard SAP helps in maintaining and making sure that the new upgrades that is happening becomes much easier and things like that. So I take that, and then let's go into a little more delve into each one of those things. Now talking about the business, the new models that is there, like S4HANA come with some new business models, and with the intelligent ERPs, all those things they added it. On top of that, they added the business network. Today you are talking about every part of a business process, they have the extensions. Talk about procurement, you have got the Ariba. Talk about the human resource management, you have got SuccessFactors. Talk about planning, you have got IBP. Talk about the asset management, you have got intelligent asset network. So every place you have got these SaaS products or the cloud products that extends the limitation that earlier ERPs had it. So they are able to seamlessly integrate with SAP or the core S4HANA systems, and taking your business beyond what used to be happening. Depending on what kind of an industry we are in, maybe some of these SaaS products are definitely helpful to us to expand and take the best out of it. Look at from a version upgrade, what are the options that we have it? If I am an ECC customer, one of the best options for me is a brownfield, because I've been using this system for a long time. I've got a lot of these custom innovations that is been done. My configuration is there. Maybe something which I don't want to take another chance of going for something else. That may be one of the ways that you can look at from. The second option is for going for a greenfield. You need to look at what's good for you, because though we can say that greenfield has its own advantages, it comes with the new clean core without getting much about what are the old ways of doing it or the old data, etc. You start your journey with a greenfield, but it has got its own challenges. Maybe look at what's the best thing for you, or take some of the new the hybrid models, but somebody calls it like a blue field. Take the best of the both things. Either you take the brownfield approach with giving some taking out the data that you don't need it, what is called selective data migration or blue field, or start with a green field, but take all your configurations and custom innovation that you've done, take it to the brand new box of SAP. So these are some of the options that you can look at, or do you have it, which can make your ECC to S4HANA journey becomes more simpler and easier. From there, getting into the cloud. We all know the world is more about the cloud. What are the options that you have it? The RISE with SAP is one option that you can look at it, or maybe some of the hyperscalers. The best way is that go for RISE with SAP, maybe one slide I have it, why that may be a better option for a lot of customers is concerned. Then coming to what we talked about, custom innovation. We have got the best practices maybe coming from SAP, the S4HANA, some of the SaaS products, etc. But then there are some of those things which are exclusively my own company needs, which are some critical things. That's where it makes a differentiation between me versus my competitors and things like that. Having said that, to keep the core clean, how can I make sure that will happen? The BTP platform that we talk about. The difference between developing something in your core, which is S4HANA, versus the BTP, is that BTP has not just got the development platform for you, but it also got some of the new technological advances, artificial intelligence, you have got the integration, real-time integration that can happen. So you have got some of the extension to the data, IoT. So all those things are readily available to you, so that we can make sure in-app extension or a real some of the other innovation that you want to do it, all those things can be done with a BTP. You can take some of the POCs to start with. It doesn't need to be an S4HANA to start BTP. You can start even with ECC also to make sure that you are fully start with maybe step by step, some of the custom developments, you can start with it and then keep building whatever the new innovations that you wanted to write it. And then finally, the sustainability that Gopal talked about. Now, when you look at from that, I'll give some of these examples where some of our customers have gone through this journey and how they could able to benefit from it. One of the biggest thing that we need to look at is that, especially for those customers who are ECC customers or they are looking at from a digital transformation. Focusing on ECC, don't look at this as only moving from ECC to S4HANA as a technical project. It has to be something beyond that, looking at a 360-degree view. The first example on the left hand side, sorry, you are right, my right hand side, your left hand side, sorry. My right hand side, then you look at it, this is more coming from the Coca-Cola. When we started this journey about 2 years or 2.5 years back, initially we spent about 6 months time doing some assessment, trying to understand. They had huge custom applications built on their, I think that's the largest ECC system as far as data is concerned, the number of users are concerned, as well as the custom developments, the tens and thousands of custom development that they had built it for that. So we did an analysis of it. We looked at what was those custom development which is redundant, looking at that, look at the data, what is redundant for them. So we looked at from that perspective, looked at what are the new processes that really helps them to go to the next levels. We did not stop at the S4HANA alone. We looked at from a 360-degree view of it. We looked at from procurement, we looked at from manufacturing, we looked at from connected logistics, we looked at from sustainability. Everywhere, it's not just S4HANA. For example, to extend the procure to pay process, we implemented the Ariba for them. From a planning perspective, we started with IBP to connect with S4HANA. Even for the logistics side, for the inventory management, etc., along with the warehouse management, we created a vision picking. There is a product from some European company which is just making sure that with the vision, there's a Google Glass kind of a solution. So you look at that barcode which is written there, so and just click on that. All these, the confirmation that is happening in the warehouses can be done automatically. Imagine a company like Coca-Cola having billions of transactions that is happening every year. Even if that takes about 10 to 15 seconds, what's the kind of the productivity improvement that they can get it without even touching the computers or concerns. So we looked at from a holistic approach, set a target with a plan of phases so that they can able to execute. The first was S4HANA conversion, almost like a 20 terabyte data. We had to do it within the weekend times because they did not want to take a business downtime for more than a weekend. So we could able to do it near zero downtime approach along with SAP. So we could able to first go live with S4HANA, bring in those, the low hanging fruits coming directly from S4HANA, then go with some of the other products along with it, and then make that the entire journey to the next level that they wanted to go through. The second is coming from the utilities company in the US. They looked at from a totally different way. They wanted to make sure that their customer experience is there, the employee experiences they wanted to focus on. They wanted to get a real-time data. They had some BW systems. Moving the data from ECC to S4HANA was something difficult for them. They looked at how can they improve on their the reporting with embedded analytics and things like that. So that's where they look at from a future perspective to making sure that the entire their journey to the next level. Intelligent asset management, one of the things that they had implemented because utilities has got those assets, they wanted to create that intelligent asset management as one of those distinctions they wanted to. The third example that I give is about the European Parliament. Imagine the companies, the government organizations using S4HANA for transformation, making sure that the employees get a better experiences as well as their customers or the citizens are getting the better things. The best part of that, once they went with S4HANA, now they started with the SAP Analytics Cloud, because they wanted to have not just the real-time data for their reporting, they also wanted to do the planning and some of the changes they wanted it to go into. The entire transformation journey was created with the phases to start one by one, and that is how even in government like European Parliament could able to take benefit and transforming themselves into the next level of businesses is concerned. I stop it here, and the next session that we are supposed to have it is on the, I think, roundtable. We thought there is a huge number of people, experts coming in from your own industries. You have your own digital journey that is happening, and you may have your own experiences, you may have your own issues and things like that. Why don't we make it more interactive and keep this open for sharing your experiences for the next 45 minutes to 60 minutes, so that all of us can hear what's happening with your own industries, what is the thought process, you have it, or you have some issues, etc. That's why I stop it here and start with Smriti to come back and take it to the next section.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks for your sharing your experience and particularly the experience and use case. So we'll start with, it's an open kind of discussions, and we don't want very formal. It's an informal way where we want to engage with all of you to understand your experience, your transformation journey in any way where you have done it within your organizations, or your thoughts where other people can help us to understand and to see that the possibility to do kind of a transformation project. So I would request if to start with Manoj, if you could share your thoughts and experience within your organization, or any of suggestions where our attendees and the audience and speakers can start with. I would request all of us can participate so that we all can hear from each other and can learn. And obviously, these are the leaders are there who can share the thoughts and experience. Manoj, over to you.
Hello. So good evening to everybody, and thanks a lot for inviting me to share my thoughts. My name is Manoj Daruka. I work for Shapurji Palanji and specifically for Sterling Wilson, who is a part of the group which is there. I think the whole topic that we are talking about is about digital transformation. Okay, it's a key word, means a lot of things to a lot of people which is there. But very briefly, if you reflect upon as an IT head or a CIO of the organization, if you really recount your 3 years which has gone past and just look at what was called upon during this time. 17, 18, we had a heady growth as India. Everybody was expanding, they were like rushing into everything which is there. Came July 19, that's a month I distinctly recollect, where the first bad news of economic slowdown started off. The news about Wuhan virus started, getting this about it. Okay, the first task that we required was look at how we can slow down what we are expanding in terms of IT infrastructure and make it more focused so that it is sustainable. Then came your lockdown. Okay, absolutely a frenzy, how you enable people to work from home, how do you make sure your servers are working, how your applications are working, how you can actually have a virtual support model, how to take care of IT security, right? How to provide a secured network to your key applications. Then came, can we track vaccination of our employees? Can we see who's sick, who's not sick? And the whole thing shows. Then came resilience. How do you come back into that? The whole, the wolf of cost optimization was anyway chasing us. Then coming now, let's get on to the digital transformation, because everything is changing. The resurrection of economy actually wanted us to again get back into the growth, but this time with a difference. It's just not a growth. It was digital transformation. How do you do it differently? How you can be better than your competition? To me, digital transformation starts with a very robust ability to transform yourself. So digital transformation is just not one step that I say, okay, I've implemented S/4HANA. on, let's say, Rise with SAP on a public cloud, that's not the end of it. You got to be fighting fit, and you have to build the capabilities which can allow you to respond to the situation very quickly. And that would mean that you cannot have the IT landscape which is too, kind of too rigid, too kind of, customized into your kind of situation that existed 2 years back. And when I'm hearing everybody, all the speakers, eminent speakers talked about it, I hear the central theme of that is how you can make yourself agile, how you can make yourself as, a IT landscape which you can actually transform a part of it without, impacting too much of out of it, where your time to market, your time to deliver is going to be very quick, and before the next wave of, requirement comes in, how you deliver it, how you realize the value, and yet it is extremely secured. It is giving the user experience, the speed of, the data that is moving in, is able to collaborate not only at an IT level, but at a business collaboration level. So all of that is, I think, is summing up into what we heard just now. And one very important thing is that when you really talk about transformation, I think there are 5 dimensions which are very important. Number one is your own understanding about where the business is heading. Okay, that understanding is very important, and as CXOs, I think that has become far more important for us to understand where is the business going, what are the impact of processes which are there. Second very important dimension is where is your technology going. I mean, quite honestly, I find it very difficult personally to keep up with what's happening in SAP. Every day there is something new which is coming up, and I think they have a uncanny ability of putting an acronym around it, which is very difficult. What is BTP? Okay, what was called as SCP some time back has become BTP now, and so it's very difficult to keep up with technology, and yet you need to know this technology. Third, you must know your organizational culture in terms of your appetite for taking a change in, and how do you really just not transform your application, but transform people. That's the most important part of it. The fourth very important thing, and when I say people, it is not only just your people within your organization, but your vendors, your collaborators, your advisors, consultants, whomsoever it is there, your employees who are not directly connected to IT. The next very important thing is that the way that you can deliver, there are massive amount of combination and choices which are available. Do I go on public cloud, private cloud? I go with Rise with SAP, and to make that particular choice of how you want to deploy it has become increasingly very, very difficult, very, very complex. And again, that requires a lot of collaborations with, partners like, Prabhu sitting there has been, I mean, I heard about the stories how he has been advising, people, customers about it. So you need to have that knowledge. And lastly, which is the most important thing, is how do you have a sustainable cost management? How do you really budget it? What is it that you're really going to put in private cloud, and how do you sustain it? What's going to be a CapEx? What's going to be APEX? What's your subscription, commitments that you're giving? The cost of scaling up, the cost of scaling down, because that's the reality. At the end of it, when we, as CIOs, we deliver a project, you cut the cake, have all the things which is there, and then the CFO will be hunting down on your neck saying that, oh my God, your IT cost has gone so much. You never told me that this glorious application is really going to be around my neck. So I think those are the kind of things which are practically going to be very, very important. And we have to, as CIOs, we have to decide. There's no way from getting away from that decision. But you have to make a decision which is sustainable, which is delivering the value, and as we talked about the journey, the predictable outcome has become extremely important. Also bringing the agility as to what you did yesterday may not be of importance today. So every day you're going to transform. So in short, friends, our life has become far more difficult, and it's not something that people should be really envious about us. But all of that requires obviously that constant learning, constant collaborating, having good set of advisors around us, a good network that really tells us, and obviously then having SAP experts to your with you to advise you and make the right decisions which are there. So I think these are like short volley of thoughts that came to my mind. I don't think it was as structured as all the eminent speakers they spoke, some time back. But I thought this is something that I would like to really share with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and experience. I'm sure it will really help I would say, all these CXOs and especially the leaders who are here in presence. And I would request if, Gan, if you could share your experience and thoughts. I think after that, we request everyone to have interactive sessions and you guys can ask questions or you can share your thoughts. It will be really good for all of us to have a learning. And over to you, Gan.
Thank you, Smriti. Namaskar, friends. This is Gyan Pandey and I represent here for the Voltas. I think we heard very power-packed and very, I will say, immense learning and summarized by Gopal, Prasad as well as Prabhu, and very well encapsulated by Manoj. I think it is little difficult for me to say anything different than that, and I don't want to repeat many of the things which is already said by these eminent speakers. But I will still add few of the things which probably I started experiencing in different organizations because I joined Voltas just last year. So experiences what I am going to share is from the two different industry verticals and their digital appetites, or I will say the appetite for the change have been quite different, and these two has been a great learning and experience for me as well. So first I will talk about my current organizations, which is a manufacturing organizations around 7 decades old. So the moment we say that, okay, manufacturing and 50 plus years of old organization, that itself carries a lot of resistance with respect to the knowledge, process, the technology, what you are using, and the people. And at the same time, you are finding that anything and everything we do in our day-to-day life, it is far more digital than when you come to office and start doing the work. So the expectation externally is always built on kind of thing. It should be nimble, it should be intuitive, it should be instant, and you should have the same experience, especially the workforce, which is the millennials. They try to have the same experience in the office. However, you have still the people like me who started at the time when the desktops and all started. They are still little, I will say, gradualist, but the new workforce, they want the things to be done in the faster way. But that is not only the internally. When you look out, you see your customer also expect the same. And that is where the digital transformation becomes so much important. So nowadays, any companies being a manufacturing, whether you make a product or you create a product or you sell a service, finally digital is important for you. And at the end, even if you are in a B2B model, but there is this B2B whole business model is getting diluted, and every B2B sector is now going also B2B to C or D2C. COVID make this that, okay, that even the very hard, I will say hardcore B2B models where you have metals and minings and let's say constructions, they all also have become D2C. Now Tata still said directly steel to the customer. And the same is the case with us also. In the consumer goods, you can never be B2B. It has to be D2C and B2B2C. And finally, you need to know about what your customer's pain is and how you can bring the better experience. And digital is all about the experience. When we say experience, that means right from the product, what you are delivering, the services, what you are giving, the experiences, what they carry when they have the problem, and the way they have been dealt with when they basically needed to reach you. All these experience matters a lot in terms of your customer experience. And these things can be done only with the digital. So what I'm trying to say here is that digital has become no more a technology, number one. Digital is become so immersive and so pervasive that digital is the business and business is becoming digital. Every sector, sooner or later, every business will be a digital business only. And that is what becomes a very big challenge when your leadership team, they feel the need of digital transformation, but your all operational teams, they're still kind of disconnected. And the challenge what comes is that, okay, how you're going to change the work culture. And that is a very important thing, especially in case of manufacturing. All consumer facing things or customer facing things, getting those change implemented and getting those adopted is far more easier because you're dealing with external world. But when you try to bring the things in terms of operational excellence, in terms of your cost optimization, in terms of your integrating your existing applications or modernizing, or try to do the operations and things in a different way to achieve better business results, there will be a huge amount of resistance. And this resistance is not because that people want to change management kind of things they don't understand, but it is more from the point that uh, that the whole thing that start that, okay, they should start working in a way that how it is going to help their work to make them more empowered. And most of us, we try to convey this by bringing some kind of PMO, by bringing some kind of change management, kind of campaign, and constantly educating them. But at the end, you'll find that the last user who is at the lowest end of your business process, he will be missing that message, and that will become a time adoption challenge. So the adoption of any digital initiatives, especially internally, that needs to be focused a lot. And of course, we talked about your existing infrastructure, IT infrastructure, what you have basically inherited, that needs to become first digital infra. That means it's secure, it should be nimble, it should be elastic, be it on your on-premise or be it on cloud. You need to work on that and keep on constantly working and upgrading that. One very important thing is that, and at times what happens is that some of your team members or some of your department heads, they will get influenced with some of the fancy word, and they will come back and they say that, okay, hey, I need this application because this works for me. I have seen that one of my competition has given this mobile applications, it's so fancy, why can't you give it? And at time when IT will say, I just will come back, we'll do this analysis. And by the time he'll come back, he'll make his mind that, okay, IT is not delivering, it is getting delayed. I will go ahead and buy it. And many times it happens that, okay, shadow IT is becoming a problem. And why this is becoming a problem? Because business does not have the time to wait, and we all have to become very, very agile. And one thing very clear in the modern days business, and very good example, what was said that last 3 years back, Gopal said that more than the Fortune 500, a very significant number of companies, is they have become slightly irrelevant in the business, that they're losing the market. That shows that, okay, what matters is the speed. It's not no more the size. So when we talk about the speed, that also comes if we move towards our digital transformation, how we can bring the changes in the process, how we can bring the applications, how we can bring the solutions in the fast way. And along with that, of course, cyber security and your information security is always, I will say, moving post which you have to take care of as an IT. But the most important part is that as a CIO or CDO, you must understand what the business is expecting and how that can be delivered, number one, in the best optimized cost. Number two, with existing infrastructure or the landscape what you are having. And whenever you look for a solution, never look for a solution with a siloed for one that requirement. Have the vision of the future so as you can go more on the platform kind of things rather than one point solutions. So these things will change the way you are basically taking care of your digital transformation. And of course, the work culture will also needs to, a lot of changes is needed in order to get this adoption done. One more thing which I will add here on the digital transformation part is that, okay, when we start something on the digital side, the expectation from the business should be that they should get the result faster. So you need to negotiate very clearly and put those outcomes what they're expecting, and many of the time the outcomes will be very high, which has not been broken down, and that should be broken down in a kind of milestones, and you start delivering the smaller things in incremental way rather than going for a very big bang approach. Like people will come and they said, no, I want to create a customer data platform so as I can do my cross-selling, upselling. You say, fine, we'll take CRM data, ERP data, or maybe from your social media, and I will create a platform. And then you will struggle that, okay, what they actually wanted to achieve. So it's always better that, okay, even though business will be looking something which is a very high expectations, have a meeting, negotiate with them, break it down, and break it down in a small deliverables with the milestones, achieve it, go ahead, get that trust, so as you can get more investment to expand that particular solutions in a longer way. And of course, not to forget the one thing that digital is no more an IT thing, it's a pure and part of the business. So be it any function, be it finance, be it marketing, be it manufacturing, be it quality, we need to create those digital capabilities in every of the functions. So every function should have the digital capabilities. By this, we do not mean that they should be knowing or that they should be SME of the technology, but they should have digital mindset. And with that digital mindset, implementing any change or implementing any technology becomes far more easier. One more point which I will add in this growing economy and India becoming $5 trillion dollar economy, every organization is basically you investing a lot of capex for the capacity enhancement. And the capacity enhancement is a very long term. Let's say if I'm trying to build one manufacturing unit, it will be 3 to 5 years time to when you will start having the production coming out. So capacity enhancement, if you have to look how we can enhance the capacity more using the technology. And thanks God that with the digital coming into the phase, there is a huge opportunity that within the existing infrastructure, still you can enhance your capacity. Of course, you will have your capexes done, which will result your capacity addition maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line. But in the existing infrastructure, what you have, plants, what you have, you can still enhance that if you start using the technology in an optimized way. I think that's it. Maybe we will have some other views from some of other peers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gyan, and thank you, Manoj, for sharing your experience and thoughts on digital transformations, and it will really a lot of insight information. So I would request if Ravi can share your thoughts, your experience in your organization. So Ravi, over to you.
Thank you so much. Actually, lot has been spoken, so I don't know what else I should be able to add on to that. Broadly, if I say that, I'll just touch on a few things, which is whatever we said about the technology. The most important facet of that will be adoption by the users. That becomes a really, really important factor for all us. So whatever we do in the organization, if the users are not able to adapt it or users are not able to take it forward, that does not lead to the successful implementation of any technology, be it a small, whatever the change you want to do, or be it a big implementation of any other project. So driving force always for us or for anybody else would be for each and every set of the users, we need to just tell them in terms of what is in it for them. That's the success mantra that we follow in Jyoti as such. Just to introduce myself, my name is Ravi Razdan. I head HR and IT in Jyoti Labs. We implemented SAP in 2017. We went live with S4 HANA. Across the modules, including HR, we run the payroll in SAP. We implemented success factors in 2018. We implemented success factor. So the entire business transformation currently majorly runs on SAP for us as a business. So before the implementation of, I just go to 2017 when we implemented SAP. One of the major challenges for us was that the business was growing. What next? From the technology adoption point of view, we wanted to have a platform which is scalable, which is robust, and takes it to the next level. But also, we also had one more challenge, which many of the speakers have touched on, is the growing satellite systems across the earlier ERP that we're using. So for each and every business process adoption or new business process, we used to implement a point solution, okay, because the old ERP did not support it, implement a point solution which will take care of that business need. So when we implemented SAP, one of the basic requirement for us was to do away with the satellite systems, so that we don't have any other satellite system running other than SAP. We made certain changes to SAP, we did certain customizations into certain modules, wherein we felt this some of the customizations that we had previously had lot of business values to come in. Certain things we scrapped, certain things we implemented, but what we made sure was that there was one single system running post implementation of SAP, which is SAP, and that actually added a lot of business value, lot of business impact came in, because you don't have multiple systems to log in and multiple systems to explore. Mobility has become the game changer now, because you want every platform to be mobile. So with the Fiori apps implementation, a lot of things have gone mobile, from specifically from approval processes. A lot of approval processes have been implemented. So just to cut it short over here, so as a transformation leaders, that is our responsibility to bring in the transformation to the business. Business wants a lot of things, like we mentioned, saying that they will come up saying that with a fancy term, saying that this is what we want to implement, and let's implement it. So yes, it becomes a challenging for us also to say that certain things can't be implemented at this time, or it is not a perfect use case for us. It may be a perfect use case for somebody else, but it may not be the perfect use case for us. So those are the challenges that we keep on facing, and I'm sure that with the peer learning, that helps us a lot in terms of understanding each other better. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No problem. Please go ahead.
We are already on, I am from Supreme Industries, CIO with Supreme. We are already on SAP HANA, latest version. Now question is to move on co-location or SAP RISE with private, because moving manufacturing environment, we are not ready at this point. What is your recommendation? Private cloud, the private RISE or
Private RISE has got a lot of use. I think Gopal can add to that. Private, the tenant of RISE, is advantageous to you because lot of things that he talked about. I think my colleagues say that I can talk internationally without a phone also. That's the kind of a voice I have. So it's always good to go for RISE. The reasons are very simple there.
public, you are saying that?
Not a public tenant. So you got a private tenant and a public tenant, right? So public is something which will, lot of restrictions will be there.
It's a greenfield kind of.
Your innovations and things like that, it's more like you go and use set of processes what standard SAP has it. Like something like Gmail, I can't go and add something to it, though the BTP comes with some innovation, but it adds its own. For a security reasons, or for that matter, you want to do your own innovations, the best way is maybe private tenant to go for. You have your own space. The advantage from going to RISE is this. Point number one, what is RISE is? Let's understand. I very jokingly say that, Gopal, sorry for that, it's like a wedding planner. Earlier days, I used to go to the Panditji, I used to go for the Alvai and all those guys, and I used to manage that myself, It used to take a lot of time. Now, everything is taken care by SAP, right from whether you want to go for Azure or GCP or something, SAP will make sure that you get the right, the hyperscaler. They will also host your application. They will do some of the technical administration work, etc. It's all one contract for a lot of things except the functional support. Rest of the things it is done by SAP. The best part is that it also, the new upgrades that is coming in is done by SAP themselves. In addition to that, he talked about some of the freebies, the Signavio, and some of the other additional things that comes free to you. The business, intelligent business, what is that? Business process intelligence. So where you can really measure your KPIs and where the real bottlenecks in a process, etc. That Signavio comes free with you. In addition to that, it's like a plug and play. So you have got everything there. So if you want to tomorrow extend yourselves to Ariba, it's like a plug and play. You want to extend to IBP, it's also again plug and play. So you want to extend your success factor, all those things are available there. It's like staying in a 5-star hotel. I got my room. The kitchen is already there, 24/7. You got restaurants. You got a banquet hall. Everything is available there. You don't need to go out. If it is I'm in a home, yes, it is my own comfort home. But I need to go for everything to go outside. So that is the difference. It's worth looking at the RISE with SAP. It has got its own, maybe the cost, etc. You may have to look at it. But a private edition of RISE may be a better option for.
What is the roadmap for private? Because tomorrow, after 5 years, SAP will say now move on to public.
So, okay, so just to add to, before I answer that question, so just to add to this, the decision criteria for you is pretty simple, right? So if you want to continue with your own data, with all the investments that you have done, then private cloud is the route. But there could be cases where you might have done an implementation, say 10 years ago, the processes that you have configured are not appropriate, then you might look at a greenfield implementation. If that is the case, then you can look at public. So there is a misconception that public is very restrictive, I can't do a lot of things. No, it will not allow me to meet my manufacturing requirements. Let me just clarify that public cloud today is used by large companies like Hitachi for all their worldwide companies outside of Japan. They are using public cloud for the manufacturing as well. Another example is Schneider. Across outside of Europe, all countries are moving on to the public cloud, right? So public cloud has equivalent capabilities. The only thing is it mandates a fit to standard approach, right? So what we have done is taking the last 50 years experience, we have built in the best processes and we are giving it to you to consume it as it is with minor modifications here and there, right? So be it a P2P or O2C or record, plan to produce, all processes, best of the breed and the next level practices, as we say, available out of the box. So if it is a green field, then you can evaluate a public cloud evaluation. If you want to continue using your existing data, existing customizations and all those things that you have done, then I would recommend a private environment.
Thank you. Yeah. See, international is totally different because I worked with Siemens for 17 years. It was earlier Atos. I was part of Spiridon project. I was the first employee of Spiridon project. I spent 6 years in Atlanta. See, the team size in the US is like 140. In India, you will find not more than 20 team size. So it's very difficult. We cannot compare what is happening in the US or Europe. And at the same time in the US, there are many companies still on ECC 6. Okay, and SAP is also selling license to them. They are not arm twisting with them and not giving licenses. So we cannot compare what is happening in the US, Europe. We need to talk about India. What are the best practices? What are the best solutions for India? You mentioned about 7-star, 5-star, right? But we don't want to pay 5-star hotel with 7-star price. So it has to be, return of investment, which is very important in Indian kind of business.
No, okay, so valid concern. Just to let you, state some facts, APJ is the highest contributor to SAP's public cloud revenues. And that too, India is in the leader board over there, right? So gone are the days when you used to take an implementation which, needs a 20-member team and, takes 10 months and 12 months. With public cloud, you can go in as less as 3 months with a very nimble team. Because it is all fit to standard approach, right? We are saying this is how a best practice process is supposed to run. Everything is pre-configured. You just upload the master data and you can start with the testing, right? So I think things have changed significantly when it comes to private cloud. Maybe you just need to do a fair evaluation and take a decision which meets your organization needs.
What are the cons of private cloud? This last question from my side.
Private cloud, as I said, it is one is you will be able to have your data, historical data, migrated onto the RISE, private environment. You can continue all your investments, customizations that you have done. You don't have to throw away that and redo everything on the the private environment. I think those are the two main benefits. Because of disadvantages. I don't see any disadvantages apart from, one is obviously, one being a multi-tenant solution, other being a dedicated environment for you, so there is always going to be a cost difference. From an SAP strategy perspective, both are going to be there in the market. Both are having a dedicated roadmap. It's not that it's going to end in 2027 and you need to move to a public environment. That's not going to happen. There is a published roadmap available. What we are saying to both our customers, be it public or private or any new customers that we are recommending, we are saying use a clean core approach, right? In public cloud anyway, you can't go ahead and touch the core, right? So that's everything that you need to do has to be done on the business technology platform. We have given n number of APIs to modify and do whatever customizations that you need. What we are saying to our customers who are moving from ECC onto private cloud is to, over a period of time, do away with all this technology, technical debt that you have built by leveraging the business technology platform. Make your core clean so that your upgrades are faster. Why ECC customers are today shying away from upgrade is because they have created such a huge monolithic architecture, a lot of customizations, and nobody wants to touch that, or nobody wants to take ownership of doing that upgrade process. So that is the reason they are pushing away. That's exactly what we want to avoid by recommending this clean core approach, right? So even if you migrate to a public or a private environment, use the BTP, move away some of the customizations over there, leverage some of the other things that are available, right, which will help you become more agile, more nimble, do away the hassles of managing this so many third-party applications, everything pre-integrated from one vendor, and if it works well, then life becomes much simpler. Right, and who is better than SAP to run your SAP system at the end of the day? Right, we run this for thousands of customers across the globe, so we have. In a public environment or a private environment, it is both same, right? So there's no difference altogether in terms of a security perspective. The amount of effort that we put in for security is same. Now, just to add to, again, since you've raised this point, we do all the periodic audits. We publish the reports so that you can satisfy your auditors in terms of security. Specifically in a public cloud, your question may be, how is my data, whether it will get exposed to someone else. So it is like a container within the multi-tenant solution, and only you have access to that data. No one within SAP will also have an access to that database. We have only access at the infrastructure level. We don't have an access at a DB level to go to the table and see your data. It's only you are the custodian of your data. So your data is totally secured. It's your responsibility.
So if I were to add, I think, see, if you look at it, just to give a very crude example, right? I mean, we all use Microsoft Outlook, Excel, etc., right? All of us have been, always using it, installed on a desktop. Now, most of us are using Office 365. At least for me, few years ago, I could not have imagined that could have happened, right? If you go to Office 365, almost all the functionality is available, but there is something that is like, some macros you can't write. There are some customizations you can't do, right? That's something that you can't do as a part of that cloud functionality as of now. So I think what I'm trying to say is two things. Number one, if you look at worldwide, any technology, any application that you're looking at, everything is moving to cloud now. Okay? It's easier for desktop applications. It's difficult for ERP applications, right? But the good part is SAP is on the lead. It's catching up. So if you ask me, by the time probably all of us have retired, will anybody be using private cloud? Probably no, right? But is it going to happen soon enough? No. You'll have enough time to get your return on investment before you do that. But if you really look at long-term future, I think public cloud is the answer. And that's what, if you look at the keynotes from Sapphire, even they are talking about public cloud being the full functionality. Will it get there in next 2 years, 5 years? It's going to take time, right? It's going to catch up. But I think that's the future to me. Right? So just to continue the same example, right? I mean, you can't expect a private concierge service, if you're not paying for it, right? So if you want that service, then get private. If you can live without that, go to public. I think that's the kind of decision that we really have to make.
The final verdict of disadvantage is 2 stars. 5 star versus 7 star. The difference is 2 stars.
I think one question which is have been talking about S4HANA and all this intelligent technologies and platforms which is being integrated is that, so the always question comes with the best of the breed solutions versus the most seamlessly and watertight solutions like S4HANA is going to offer. Now, every organization will have its own journey, one or other applications they might have already implemented. Now, in that, if somebody goes, let's say RPA, or let's say for the Power BI for the reporting and all, which as an IT, I mean, it will be far more kind of blissful for the IT to have a single platform and things happen on the same. But I think one point which always comes to the mind is that, okay, what Manoj, raised that, okay, 5-star versus 7-star, that's one thing, the cost part. And second thing, that how you are going to, let's say if somebody is already using certain technology and your solutions is equally capable, you must motivate and incentivize in the way that, okay, there should be a business motivation to come on your platform. Otherwise, you have all the offerings, but I have a business limitations in terms of cost that I will still continue with the 10 other tools, because for me, shifting from one stable platform to other is a huge cost for me. How you are going to address that? Or is there any thought process from the SAP in the future?
It's a valid question, but very much beyond my pay grade. But what I can say is, obviously, see why this situation has happened is we need to understand the way technology has evolved. We started with an ERP and then we have grown to other solutions. While there are new age companies which started with a small niche area and they have built upon that. And in order to mitigate this gap, we have come up with the industry cloud solution, which is where we are saying, okay, you need something in transportation management. Yeah, there's a solution pre-integrated with SAP, correct? So either you can look at the industry cloud solutions, and again, these are, as I said, all subscription based, where you can start small and then keep on, improving upon those capabilities. Secondly, what we are giving is with S4HANA is all this open architecture, right? Unlike ECC, which was very closed architecture, S4HANA or RISE with SAP is all open architecture. So it's all API based. You can start a process in ERP, you can go to a second solution, from there go to a third solution and then come back and close the process within S4. Right? So you can, till the time the other solution are meeting your requirements and able to cater to your business needs, you can stitch a process which will run across multiple solutions, right? So open APIs, industry cloud, and obviously, costing is something that which is beyond my control, but we can take that as a feedback and push it to our management.
Learn from the car dealers. They take the old car back and give and take my car. So that is what SAP should do now.
Something I'm going to start new, definitely I'll look at this SAP offering. Yeah, but something which is already existing. Yes, of course it can integrate seamlessly. Technology integration is not that much complex and challenge nowadays, which used to be 10 years back. But I need to maintain those technology expertise, either as a partner or in-house, to maintain that. My process can still move seamlessly, but my maintenance and administering cost would be higher. So I think Mr. Prabhu has said, Prasad, right? Prasad, Prabhu, okay. He has said the right thing that maybe you can take the message that how we can do this. Because this, whatever you have offered, most of your customers have already started their journey, be it sourcing, be it RPA, be it analytics. There will be one or other kind of solutions are there. And they're equally competent solutions. Now, one question is that, of course, that, okay, whether S4HANA or the all peripheral solutions, cloud integrated solutions, what you have, is the best of the breed. Even if it is the best of the breed, is that required for my business? So, if it is required for my business and I'm already running a solution which is meeting my requirement, why I should forego the investment which I have done and making that change to coming to your platform? And always, I feel always that, okay, whenever something goes to the SaaS platform, coming out of that is not that easy. If you have an on-premise, switching over to any of the other platform or technology is easier in terms of data and in terms of setting the technology. But once you are in the SaaS and especially your business process, which is cutting across the functions and also going beyond your organization, it's very difficult.
No, agreed. So that's where we are not saying that you need to buy everything at one shot. As I said, it is on your terms, on your business needs. You can pick and choose whatever you need. And obviously, we have been able to justify, that at a TCO level, we have worked with our customers and have been able to demonstrate value. That is why SAP has been able to, make inroads into some of the other solutions as well.
And in
apart
fact,
from the ERP.
yeah, in fact, some of the examples that he gave, right, Schneider or some of the other examples, what they're doing is they're actually using a sidecar approach. So what they're doing is for their main operations, they're probably still with private cloud, but there are smaller commercial offices or small operations elsewhere. They're saying, why do I want to invest and why do I want to take the pains of rolling out this whole my solution, keep my data integrity and all of that thing? I'll use my public cloud. So that's another thing that we can think of as an architecture standpoint. Obviously, the company has to be that much big enough, and it has to have your benefits over the interfaces, etc. But that's another idea. A lot of companies are doing it, at least the bigger companies. And maybe just to some of the point that you said earlier, right? In terms of how do we convince business, right? In terms of going for S4HANA or using S4HANA, etc. And I think Prabhu and I, we were on this a couple of examples earlier, and Prabhu can elaborate more than me. But I'll give you 2 or 3 examples. And you talked about from a support point of view. There was one customer we were supporting, ECC customer. We were like, solving tickets, and we had SLAs and everything. So we were all green in SLAs for a finance users. All SLAs green, everything going perfectly fine. And then we did a end user survey. Like how are you feeling about our services? Are you satisfied? And they were always like, you're okay. And we were like, never understood what's the problem. We are doing everything right. We are solving every ticket. And what is the issue? We took a meeting. And then they said, I have an issue. You're solving in time. That's fine. But my biggest problem? I'm not able to do my month-end close in 2 days. That is what I want to do. And currently, it is taking me 4 days or 5 days. And I think that's the problem then we took. And then we started looking at it. And then we realized the business process is completely broken. That one part of the system was in SAP. There's some data was coming from some other system. There was some work getting done manually in Excel. Then it would go to Hyperion for consolidation. And it used to be a completely broken business process. And then we said, why don't we take that whole business process together, make that as a one process, and then we did that. And then we made that business process within 2 days. And that point onwards, even if we may miss the SLAs, finance community was our biggest supporters. So I think that's the point. What I'm trying to say is how do we get that business process together? Getting that experience to business matters that sometimes, right? Other example I'll give you, the typical questions that our customers ask and that our CIOs tell us. Great, I'm in love with SAP. I'm in love with S4HANA. Tell me, how do I get budget for it? Okay, I want to go for S4. My business won't support me. Okay, how do I get this budget? And Prabhu, you can take more, elaborate more. But one example was we were showing them the capabilities of S4HANA, and then when they looked at it, and then some of the we were explaining one by one all the capabilities, and then one point they realized, but by implementing S4HANA, they will be able to avoid penalties that they were paying in millions of dollars right now. That outweighs all the investment they will do in S4HANA. So we need to look for that one niche that can actually make the difference to the businesses. Other example, same thing. I think they were looking at different processes, and then we said that in S4HANA we've got this advanced ATP functionality, which was always there, but it was all it's more like a better version of advanced ATP. So yes, this is what will change my supply chain. This is with this. Business said, I will be able to save at least 10 million, rupees, dollars, etc. And that again, more than justifies all the cost that I'm going to put in for going ahead with S4HANA. So I think as an IT leader or as a partner, what we should look at is what matters to business. The cost of whatever that they're going to serve, what business benefits they're going to get, should actually create that business case for us. And that is something that we can always help.
Just adding to that, I think most of our colleagues in IT, getting the conviction why S4HANA, that may not be that challenging, which I feel, looking at the potential what S4HANA brings. But what you added that S/4HANA can do and add a lot of value to the business depending on how the process has been stitched on that. But let's take a step back, be it any generation of ERP or any application. Feature-wise, it always sounds great, but when it comes implementations, how much the features, functionalities we implemented, and the second, how much we adopted, that remains the two big KPIs. And as far as when you go to the business, we also need to go with this, and I like that approach that, okay, you go with the outcome based, and that outcome should be defined as a clear KPIs, measured in a timely manner, and then you show the adoption, because if that is not done, even if the implementation partner also that could be brought in that way, because application ability to add value to the business, it will be always there, but implementation done in a proper way, and before implementation done, definitely it needs a BPR kind of things. I mean, the olden days, business process re-engineering leads to the ERP implementation. It is still needed now. You put every process on the paper first and see where is the crap, where is your efficiency is getting lost, and then try to stitch the story in the S/4HANA. Probably if you do that exercise, it will be a little easier for us to convince to the businesses.
Absolutely, makes sense. And also, I think if I were to add, I think, I think maybe many of us are like dinosaurs in terms of industries right now, right? But in our times, when it was in R2 times or R3 times, we used to always love SAP as a product. We used to hate SAP to use as a user. Okay, and that a lot of people who would say that, and I think that's what the S/4HANA is making a difference. They're trying to catch up with this new technology, the Fiori apps, that mobile apps that we're talking about. That is something that the people today are looking for. I think that's what is making probably adoption or the even attractability a little bit better.
Yeah, I think, thank you, Gan. Thank you all the leaders for sharing and asking questions. I think it's one of the really good conversations, so that it really helps all of us to learn and to see that what's the transformation journey and how we can take it. So we request if we have, I mean, anyone ask any other questions or anything, any thoughts wants to share with us. If not, then we'll start with our next steps. I think I would request Shivani to come and to introduce our Managing Director, Sanjay Gotivrekar is the India National Business Head. Over to you, Shivani.
Thank you, Smriti. Now I kindly request Mr. Sanjay Gotivrekar, MD India Business Eviden, to conclude the roundtable discussion with Eviden Capability Showcase. Sanjay is a distinguished leader responsible for digital transformations and guiding Indian businesses to digital first. With 30 years of experience in IT, he has led large teams across multiple locations and has previously worked with Wipro and Xerox. Formerly Chief Delivery Officer at Atos India, he emphasizes customer experience, nurturing creativity, and driving innovation. He is an engineering graduate who also holds a master in international business.
Okay, good evening, and thank you, Shivani, for a wonderful introduction. When somebody says so many things about you, you feel motivated. So thank you. Okay, so I think a lot has been already said about SAP and business in and around SAP. I'll not talk much about it, or rather, I'm not going to talk anything about it. I'm going to talk a little bit about Eviden, the brand and the logo which you must have seen. So a little bit about Eviden to give you an introduction about that. I think most of the speakers I was listening, I think they made a very important point. I think one of the takeaway from Mr. Gan, your speech, you very categorically mentioned that nowadays digital is business and business is digital. And you also mentioned a very important point which says that it is not about having, it is not necessary to have the subject matter expert on technology in each and every department of the organization, but it is required to build an organization with people who have digital mindset. I think that is exactly the thought process which brought this Eviden into existence exactly a year back when Atos got into these discussions where they felt that now there's a need to have a specific a workforce which is directed and with a clear mindset and intention to collaborate with customers on digital initiatives, on digital transformation services, and that's exactly where this entire strategy took place, and the need for a separate business unit the need was felt, and that's how the entire the split, I would say, has started getting into place. It took almost 1 year now. In as far as 30th June 2023 is concerned, Atos has got his own business unit called as Eviden. It's a company by itself, right, which is focusing mainly on, rather only on digital transformation services. We talk about digital transformation using you talk about application development, application modernization, application services, analytics and stuff like that. This is the one very, very basic building of the business. Number two, an area where we collaborate with our customers is digital platforms, smart digital platforms like SAP, right? And SAP, of course, we have a platinum collaboration and strategic alliance there. But like SAP, we also have other platforms like ServiceNow. We talk about Salesforce, and then there are many others. Number three, building blocks where we collaborate with our customers and work very closely is on cloud technologies. We talk about any hyperscalers. We have the strategic relationships with AWS, Azure, Google, and we have a lot of use cases and case studies in and around that. Number fourth pillar where we collaborate with our customer is big data and high performance computing. So Atos and now Eviden has their own brand called as Bull, which are high performance servers, and the technology which is used by the customers to build their capabilities around supercomputers. Like for example, give a recent example of Indian Weather Department has there has been a recent order which is won by Eviden, close to about $100 million for building the supercomputers for the Weather Department of India, an initiative of Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi, which is in place for last 2.5 years. So we already had multiple multi-million deals and supplied this hardware to Indian government for various industries. So a lot of departments are coming up with their own supercomputing capabilities to deliver best-in-class services for the citizen of the for the India. The fifth pillar of business where we collaborate with our customer is cyber security. I think we have our own capabilities. We acquired a company called as Palladian, a known brand in market, which is now with us, and that's how the capability was built in, and we are one of the, I think Gartner's report, I think last year Q3 says that now Atos and now Eviden is number one in cybersecurity services globally. And the last on the list, the sixth pillar, of course, it is cutting across all, that the services towards sustainability initiatives. So these are the 6 pillars. I want to just give a filler where the Eviden as an organization can help the customers. You see any area, any option, any opportunity to collaborate in and around these areas, we are absolutely excited, open and keen to work with all of you. When I say these 6 pillars, we also have a service, or I would say offering, which is cutting across all these 6 pillars is time and material resource deployment capabilities. We have a huge workforce which is trained and experienced for various technologies, talk about SAP, .NET, Java or any technology for that matter, and we have a special business focus on time and material deployments in India. So when I'm talking about all the services I'm talking about is focusing only in India market, while we have a global capabilities through global delivery centers where we have thousands of expertise and executives and skilled manpower already available. And so these are those areas which I wanted you all to just understand and share with you all, that these are the areas where we can collaborate, and we Eviden globally we call it as a 5 billion organization, but it's a 5 billion organization with a startup mentality. So the attitude is startup. So we have a team of all young people with a fresh thoughts, fresh mindset, fresh blood, and with all agile you can say workforce with a lot of project management capabilities. I would like to invite here Smriti, Hitesh, and Durga, and also Manas. So these are the gentlemen I would like to introduce to all of you, should there be in any area which you feel where there can be a collaboration, I think these are the people who can be reached. Hitesh, Smriti and Manas have been very old timers, erstwhile Atos, now with Eviden. These are the people who work very closely with all our clients, customers, and come out with those collaborative approach. The tagline is let's grow together. That's the approach we have, and Durga heads the entire service delivery for Eviden India. So all the workforce which is available or which is there with Eviden India delivering services for all our customers, they roll up to Durga. So Durga, Manas, Smriti and Hitesh, they are the ones who are the front enders, while we also have various other functions and practices across, but these are the key people who are directly go-to market team. They interact with all our customers, and more largely all customer engagements are managed by them. So thank you, Smriti, Manas, Durga, as well as Hitesh. So I think I just wanted to keep it very short and quick, because I know I am now in between you all and the cocktail which is waiting outside. So I will not take much time. I think that's all. I think Smriti, I would invite him to just give you a snapshot of what is that which we do as far as SAP in India is concerned. So Smriti, if you want to just take quickly few pointers here.
Thank you, Sanjay. I think we spent a lot of time. I don't want to get into that. I think all the leaders have shared their experience and thoughts. So to start with, I think as a SAP practice in Eviden globally, we have a lot of industries experts and consultants are available who can help you in your transformation journey, and we have been serving our customers locally and globally in any way, whether it is migration upgrades or new implementations, net new. And we have been serving, and if you see all our trusted analysts talk about Eviden, what we have been doing it in across the globe, and that is how it shows that we are the right partner for you, and whichever way you want, we will ready to support you. And we do a lot of co-innovations along with SAP together, whether it is sustainability perspective, whether it is bringing as a BTP as a platform, where we are developing a lot of innovations, co-innovation along with customers and SAP, where we can bring a lot of value additions, and a lot of things area where we have been serving. If you talk about these are the things where whether it is manufacturing, public sector, and this smart platform already Sanjay has talked about. And if you go back the next slides, it's more talk about our industries and the experience what we are bringing. We have own our pre-configured solutions which we developed using, and especially for the manufacturing industries, and these are the customers we are using. I think we are ready to help you out in your transformation journey, and I don't want to take much time. As a service provider, we are always there. I think wherever you need, we wanted to have a one-on-one interaction along with you to help and to have a more interaction, and obviously as Sanjay said that cocktail is ready, and since weather is right, I think thank you so much for joining us. I think I would request Sanjay to have a vote of thanks. I think pleasure to interact all of you, and looking forward to connect and to part of your transformation journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Smriti. And just one last point. There can be a question. You might be thinking, what happens to Atos? So Atos as an organization continues to put their focus on driving infrastructure services and innovation around that using AI, ML, and other cutting-edge services and technologies. Whereas Eviden will continue to work on the areas of digital transformation with all our customers. So in India, Eviden legal entity will be known as Eviden India Private Limited. We have already registered in MCA, that is Ministry of Corporate Affairs portal. Expected to get the final approvals by end of July or mid of August max. We already have segregated all our operations, the clients, the customers, the service delivery teams, the business development team. So all entire employees, the entire carve out has already taken place. We are independent agency now in the market, going very aggressively on the specific areas as you have just seen here, right? And I also would like to mention a point which Mr. Manoj has mentioned categorically, that when you transform the organization, you also have to ensure that the employees also need to get transformed. We talk about digital transformation, but employee transformation is also very important. So that's the mindset, the skill development, the certifications, those drives are ongoing in our organization, and I'm sure if you get an opportunity to have any offline discussions or discussions in your good offices, will be more than keen to visit and have little more elaborated discussions around Eviden India's in specific, their capabilities, and also through India how we also manage our clients globally. So that's on Eviden. So at the end, Smriti has given me a tough task to say thanks to everyone, because I know there was a weather issues outside, but you still managed to come in large numbers, and I really thank you all. As we come to the end of the Rise with SAP CXO Forum, I extend my gratitude on behalf of Eviden to all the industry leaders, technology experts, and esteemed guests for making this event a remarkable success and experience. A special thank you to our keynote speaker Prasad, Gopal, and Mr. Prabhu for sharing their expertise and cutting edge insights. Your valuable shareouts inspire us to embark S4 move, which will enable organizations to achieve next level growth and profitability. I also want to express my gratitude to all the roundtable speakers for the exciting and knowledgeable discussions. Your experiences have enriched this forum, providing us with new perspective for success through transformation. Thank you to the Eviden SAP All Done Global Organizing team and all attendees for your support. Let's carry back the knowledge gained here to drive our companies to new heights. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjay, for sharing your cutting-edge insights and expertise with us today. Your valuable insights will enable industry leaders to make a clear roadmap and strategies for taking their organizations to new heights. Please give him a big hand. Now I request Smriti Mishra from Eviden to come forward for his closing remarks.
I think closing remarks already दे दिया नहीं it's more about where initially we planned. I think that's already Sanjay has done and he has already experienced, so nothing more than that. So let's start. I think the outside the chocolate dinner is ready. I think we'll have a closure and a kind of a small award session where we request if I think all of us can spend another 5 minutes max so that we can have lunch and dinner outside. I think that's something which we'll have this.
Thank you, Smriti. Let's move forward with the awards. The Alden Awards serve as a moment of pride to celebrate success and innovation. Organized by Alden Global Value Advisors, their coveted awards stand as India's most prestigious recognition in technology, finance, marketing, and startups. I humbly request Mr. Sanjay Gotrikar to step forward for felicitating the awardees. First award, the Digital Leader of the Year Durable 2023 award goes to Gyan Pandey from Voltas. Congratulations, Gyan. Moving on, Leader of the Year Home Care Mid-Size 2023 award goes to Ravi Razdan from Jyoti Limited. Let's give him a big round of applause. Next award goes to Mr. Rajiv Agarwal from Bharat Serum Vaccines for Business Leader of the Year, Mid-Size 2023. Many congratulations to Rajiv. Please come forward to receive the award. Thank you, Mr. Sanjay. Now I request Mr. Durga Madhav to felicitate the awardees. Moving on, IT Professional of the Year Textile Mid-Size 2023 goes to Surendra Shrutriya from Siaram Silk Mills. Next award is CIO of the Year Luggage Mid-Size 2023 goes to Praful P. Chavan from Safari Industries. Congratulations, sir. Thank you, Mr. Durga. Now I request Mr. Prasad to come forward and felicitate the awardees. The Excellent Transformation Project Diamonds Award goes to Mr. Jayesh Chauhan of MKM Diamonds. Many congratulations to you, sir. Lastly, we have Digital Transformation Leader of the Year 2023, Mr. Avinash Ramachandra from RPG Group. A sincere thank you and warm regards to all the leaders who played a vital role in the success of this event. We believe that the invaluable exchanges and inputs garnered here will serve a solid foundation to take your organizations to the next level. We look forward to your continued presence in upcoming events by Alden. Wishing you a pleasant evening. Before we conclude, I kindly ask all the leaders to share their valuable feedback by scanning the QR code given at the back of your badges. Now, I further request all the leaders to come forward for the group picture. Now, I would like to welcome all our esteemed guests to join us for cocktails and dinner. Thank you.